It's no accident that sounds like you're leveling up in a video game. 48% of 18 to 29-year-olds have an online dating profile.
Make them work for it.
45% of people say they're more frustrated with this form of dating than hopeful.
There are so many people you can connect with.
Should I swipe right?
Swipe wrong. Swipe wrong. Setting the record straight on dating apps. Everyday people telling everyday stories of the swipe right world with your host, Koss.
Well, I know he had a good time.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night. You guys know how it goes by now, don't you? How's everybody doing? Hopefully you're doing outstanding. Let's turn this just a little bit. There you go. What do I want to talk about? So, welcome to the show. You guys know me now. You know me as that guy. I am that guy. I am Chaos. Welcome to the Swipe Wrong Podcast. We are the #1 podcast amongst people who want to see celebrity deathmatch, Halloween versus Christmas. Might be fun. All the cool kids are doing it. Follow the show. YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, any podcast platform, follow it, like it, let us know how we're doing. If you want to shoot me a text, hear your story. We're actually starting to explore into other things, it sounds like, too. We want to hear everybody's, not just their dating stories, but their forbidden, I don't know, sort of went out, had their time stories too. Forbidden fruit. That was the word I couldn't come up with. Stories as well. Like what might have you kind of found out? We're exploring some other stuff. Anyway, books are out there. The Swipe Wrong books. There is one that talks about all the different, some of the different stories that we've heard on the show. The dating cycle. There's another book out there that talks about just how to put together your profile and how to have better dates. I can't tell you just how many people I talk to when I'm talk about the show and things like that, and they just immediately I hate dating. Dating stinks. Dating's the worst, and end up having a conversation about it. And I just give my perspective and think how here's what I've learned from all of you guys and some of the experts that we've talked to, and how to turn the bad dating world into a good dating world for you. So check them out. They're on Amazon. They're e-read, hardcover. Anyway, they're out there for you. So everything we do is just try to help each other out, right? So this week, man, like seriously, like I can't, like it blows me away. Like how many people my first conversation is maybe 3 minutes before I hit record. And this guy was so cool. Like you just kind of like, sometimes you in the dating world, when you guys are on the apps, and I mean, really the apps are turning into your DMs. People are just hitting everybody up in their DMs now. And we'll have a show coming up on that here shortly too. It's turning into like, you can catch kind of a vibe, right? You kind of have an idea. You know, we've talked about that many times. This dude, we were just messaging back and forth, and you just tell like just a good dude. We we're gonna have a good time, and the show totally came through that way. It was a good time. There was some really cool stuff he talked about. Phenomenal human. And he's got his own show. He's doing a lot of awesome stuff, and you'll hear all about it. But really, you guys know, if you want to share your story, if you want to do it in an email, you want me to get in contact with you, JRI 317-426-6616. Email us at swipewrongpod@gmail.com. We love doing the show. We can't get enough content. I want all the content. Like I want everybody's story. You guys know that by now. So reach out, and we'll be happy to get a hold of you. Lots of podcasts will do. All right, fill out this application. Let me know what you're bringing to the show. Look, all I want you to do is bring you. I don't need an application. I don't need anything other than you guys just having a conversation with me, because there's just too many amazing people not to be able to get to talk to and have a good time with. But all that being said, sit back, relax, put your feet up, grab your popcorn, get it buttered, throw some caramel on there, whatever secret sauce you want to throw on there. If you're in traffic, please be careful. Do not hit that person next to you and relax, enjoy the show. This one is Caught My Catfish. You guys enjoy.
Disclaimer: the views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions or any entities they represent. This podcast is about dating experiences. It is not to say one dating app is better or worse than another.
Let's have some fun. So, the cool thing about this is, like, you and I have had maybe 3 minutes of conversation. So, and like, I could, like, sometimes you just like, oh man, I totally dig this dude's vibe. And that's right there, right?
Two peas in the pod just trying to make it. And, chemistry is everything. So, feel the same. We just here to shoot a gift. Like, that's what we doing. Got the world watching.
Totally. So tell me about your world. What's your world like? Like, I know you host a show, you do stuff. Tell me about your world.
All right. Well, I come from the podcast world. Before we was calling it podcast, it was vlogging, blogging. I've been doing it since I was since I was like 10. I started off with a karaoke machine. Me and my stepbrother, we used to do karaoke inside of the room, just with 2 mics, no cameras, no nothing. And as time went on, gradually, this is when YouTube was just a kid that came about. So I just put myself in front of the camera. And as time went on, I just kept going. I took a break. Life happens, going out a teenager, going into adulthood, school, work, et cetera, et cetera. And then I decided, you know what, I want to get back inside of the world, and I just want to shoot the gift. And I started some shows.
What are your shows? Like, tell them, like drop whatever. Like, you said some shows. What are some of the shows? Tell me what they're about.
In the beginning, I was on PIMD. That's Party in My Dorm. That's a app. It's avatar based, and you just throw parties, and it gives you to go to Kick and Line. Those are sister apps. And what you're doing there is you have rooms, you have groups, and you could do lives, you could do segments. So I was doing shows there. And then I gravitated towards Mew, which is a karaoke app, and I started to do music shows.
That's awesome.
And then after, I decided that, I wanted to come inside the world. And I decided to get on major platforms like Spotify, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and now YouTube. And I just changed all of my social media handles from private to public.
Yeah.
And then I became a content creator to start jumping back into the loop. My first show was the Kickback Podcast.
Okay.
And that was my first introduction to the world, the Kickback Podcast. It's still going. I was a co-host. I helped create and produce it with Jay Rogers, but now it's ran by Jay Rogers and Jason Thayer. Okay. And you can catch that on Spotify, and they have clips on Instagram. But because of the conflict in my schedule, and I went back to school for my master's.
Good for you.
And because of school, just different, like, it had nothing to do with any of us. It just had to do with scheduling. I couldn't do co-hosting. So that's when I ventured off and did my own thing. And now I run the show, Let's Talk About It, on its Mental Network.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Your master's, though. Let me ask you about that. What's your master's then?
So I've been doing case management. I've been doing substance abuse. Just working in the health profession itself. I did a lot of human services work coming up. That's just been my angle. That's been my niche. I decided that I wanted to become a mental health specialist or a therapist. So in order for me to do that, I couldn't just operate with my bachelor's. If everything you do, you got to elevate eventually. So I decided to just go back to school for my master's of social work. I'm currently a student as we speak. So that's what I'm going to be obtaining. And after that, I'll be going towards my LCSW. That's a licensed clinical social worker. Yeah. And I'm currently working with family and children. I'm a skills trainer. So depending on whatever state you are, you got to play with the terminology if you don't have certain licenses. So let's make that clear. So I'm not a mental health therapist. I'm a mental health coach, a mental health
Gotcha.
specialist. But once I obtain that degree, I'll be a mental health therapist, mental health provider with the certifications. So yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's a lot of good work you're doing. That's a lot. I mean, not only for you, but for a heck of a lot of other people too.
Hell yeah.
I
Hell yeah.
I can't imagine some of the stuff that you see though.
Oh, at an early age, I was exposed to how vulnerable the populations could be. Since
Sure.
This mental health in itself is becoming a broader conversation. We're talking about it on platforms. You have podcasts, you have channels that are channeling in and having the conversations. Versus yesteryear, people were embarrassed to say that they have problems, mental illnesses, like anxiety, depression, social
Yeah.
anxieties. I decided early on that that's what I wanted to do, but it started off of addiction. I was a substance abuse support.
Okay.
I want to say substance abuse counselor because I was too young and I didn't have the certifications. But back then you could get grandfathered in the shit. But
Okay.
I decided that I just wanted to be in a helping profession. I wanted to help people, so I just started to learn that administrative works, and that's what I wanted to be. It's something that I have a passion for. It's a passion for peanuts. I don't expect to get rich. I expect to change someone's life.
Dude, that's the richest feeling that you could possibly have though. That's also like, all right, so that's why we podcast too, right? Is like you're just hoping to put some smiles on faces, touch some people. Maybe like honestly, one of the reasons I started the show was like I was going out on dates and everyone was saying how all they attracted were crazy people. I'm like, I promise you're not the only one. I swear to God. So you get your story out there and you touch others. But that's the voice, that's why we have the microphone in front of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So I guess I would be remiss if I didn't ask though, like throughout all your just the podcasting days and all the stuff, like you have time to date? Do you have any dating stories? You on the sides?
Right now I'm taking, but for a long period of time I was out there. I'm from the city. The city, don't have time to stay still, not taking from anyone who has relationships, but
no, that's for sure.
From the city, it's you have all the flavors. New York, come on. I'm from Manhattan, so the fashion district, you get to see all sorts of different cultures, Asian, Chinese, Korean, Black, Africans, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, you name it, it's there. You even got people from foreign countries coming through. So you don't want to just, limit your, the experiences that you can have. So
100%.
For a long time, it took a little minute for me to actually slow down, but as I started coming but no, I got stories. I've been in the field for a while. So it was cool.
Did you use the apps?
Yeah, I use the apps, and I don't want to get the apps like wrong ideas. Because I know people usually check it out for love, but no, I'm from, like I said, I'm from the city. Sometimes you need a quick fix. So how I would utilize them would be just, to see who's in my area. Back then, you didn't have the technology that you had before where they could tell you who's on and who's exactly in the area. You actually just had to fish, and you just have to see if you could catch something for the night or to set up for the next day. So yeah, I've utilized the apps. I prefer more person-to-person interaction, so I don't mind going out to the malls or just going to the clubs and seeing if I could get lucky for that night, which I've never had a problem in that area. So
attaboy.
I
mean, you're in New York, bro. I mean, like it's like how roughly about how long ago was this?
That like I've gotten off the market.
Well, yeah, well, okay, yeah. So how long have you been in a relationship?
Oh, well, I've been in a relationship for 2.5 years now.
Okay, cool. So maybe about 3.5 years ago, this is you were out.
Still kind of fresh. Yeah. I was still out there.
No, that's cool.
The field. So yeah.
You have a big personality. Like so you have like I don't have any problem walking up and talking to somebody. You obviously don't either. Too, like when you were doing this, did you ever run into people who were just kind of like didn't know how to interact when you just try to approach them?
It varies from state to state. For real?
Okay.
So I want to say in my experience, coming from New York, the females and the males. Usually the males are the seekers. They the ones that get the invitation. And the females, if they like you, then they will receive it and they will accept it. The thing is that a city person versus the outskirts, when you're in the city, you're used to people talking urban terminology, hollering at you, trying to pick you up.
Sure.
So what happens is the females, they do a few techniques of their own where they either ignore the pass, they're respectfully decline, or they will just receive it. So just being in those domains and those atmospheres, trying to pick up on girls and looking for dates, you got to have thick skin and you got to be very swift and you got to have personality, because the first few minutes, matter of fact, seconds of whatever comes out your mouth is going to determine how the next few seconds is going to determine how it's going to go.
For real.
So you need to pick it up. And I got to tell you that pickup lines do not work. You got to get very creative, especially in the city.
Yeah. When did you, like, what you said to me is like interesting, because you kind of noticed like in the city, it was different than when you were like when you were in the suburbs outside of New York, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah. So when did you pick up on that, man? Did you just did you organically kind of figure it out, or did you and your boys kind of talk about it, or?
Can you see me? Sorry. No.
Yeah. You're good. You're great. I know you were adjusting, but you're good.
No. So what would happen is basically, we would just pick some time out if we out of school, depending on where we were in life. We would all just get together and we would go on the outskirts. Or if I'm traveling, if I'm in Pennsylvania, if I'm in upstate New York, if I'm in Ohio, North Carolina, just to name a few. If you go into the countrysides, this is where the game differs. They're not used to people coming up. Now, mind you, New York City, this is home of the outspoken, straight, cut, and direct. So sometimes you could come off rude.
Right.
Now, when you go to other different states and you start to try to talk to females or guys, whatever your preference is, the approach has to be a little bit different. It has to be more less wit, less swift, less direct, and you gotta blanket the approach. So this is where instead of the quick, yo, what's up? You was just running through my mind. Like if you just walked a little bit faster, you would have walked out of my life. Some fast stuff like that. You gotta, excuse me. Hi, how you doing? Can I talk to you for a second? Hi, my name is such and such, and I just wanted to let you know that you look beautiful. You look beautiful today, even though so many people told you that you were. Now that might get you in, but at the same time, it's like you're talking to me. Oh my God!
Yeah.
They're not so used to people approaching them and picking them up. So you got to be very delicate and very soft spoken with the approaches. Don't come off too rude, because they might think that you're trying to assault them or rape or whatever.
Yeah.
So you learn different techniques if you go places. You learn how to deal with different atmospheres.
That's huge insight, man. That's huge insight. That's true. Like when you're in the like when you're in more of a metropolitan area, whether it be New York, LA, just whatever, Chicago, it doesn't matter. Like you're gonna walk into people, you're gonna talk to people. People are used to it. You get into like the outskirts, man. It is faces and phones, and sometimes the communication is entirely different. It's entirely different.
Absolutely. Sorry, I'm trying to.
No, bro, you're good. You can take a minute to get set up. You're fine, man.
No,
you're good. You're good.
But to make sure I'm still there. No, absolutely. It's totally different. I actually watched some guys. Not that I need them anymore, but his name is Austin. And then another one is Fixed Fearless. Fearless.
Okay.
They are guys that kind of have expertise in the craft of helping guys pick up girls.
Right.
So they have like this whole get up. Shout out to them. I watch them a lot of their content. I was following the Austin brother. Just he was a fitness person. He did a lot of fitness content back in the day. And then when I picked up just trying to find one of his workouts, I realized that he kind of like rebranded himself to be like a relationship guru. And that's how I ran into the other brothers. And they talk about a lot of things, tips on like how to pick up girls, things that you should say, how to, dress and groom yourself, keep yourself tailored, changing your physique. They got like a whole breakdown, different packages. So like there is sciences to it. I don't want to take from them brothers, but I also want to say is that like it all depends on what type of personality you have. If you're an introvert, then online is for you, or just text messaging, or back in the day the chat line. If you're an extrovert, you will have no problem just like putting yourself out there, especially if you have charisma and you have personality. You can crack a joke, or you can say something smart and romantic, and whatever type of girl you picking up, they'll receive it well.
So I talk a lot on here. Like it's a lot of women that come on and share their stories, and it's great to be able, one, it's great to get to know you because you're an amazing human. I mean, the shirt does it all, plus the personality does it all.
Yes.
And but we don't talk enough about, I don't get a chance to talk enough, I should say, about guys and what they have to go through to get themselves back out there. And one of the things that I think is huge is everybody needs a victory, right? We all need a victory. And when guys are going out, sometimes it's really hard to approach a woman and just, put yourself out there. And I think like some of it has to come, like it always comes from within. But if you can give yourself some sort of internal victory, whether it be you're waking up, you don't like something about yourself, which I hate. Everybody should love themselves. You got to be your biggest fan instead of your biggest critic.
Yes.
And once you start to make whatever change, whether it be your physique, whether it be just maybe, just one small thing can give you, that confidence maybe to feel like you can walk up and talk to somebody. But it always feels like it starts here within, right? Or my opinion.
Yes, I'm glad you're speaking on that. That is actually the truth. I have a lot of experience with that on both sides. It might not come off as this, but I'm like partially shy.
Okay.
But growing up, I was very shy.
Okay.
It wasn't until my brother, when I was younger, he kind of like enforced, kind of encouraged, I would say, for me and my friends to pick up girls. So he would actually be coaching us to talk to her, talk to her, talk to her. The first few tries, I was nervous, I was scared, catching anxieties. But as time went on, I mastered being able to have conversation. It's just another human being. What I'm getting at is, as a male, we are the ones that's usually making the approach, and the female is usually the one that has to accept or decline what we're saying. A healthy suggestion, if you will, just an opinionated suggestion, is get comfortable with rejection. You have to get comfortable being rejected, because if you don't know how rejection feels, then you will never know how it feels to get accepted. If you just start to try to talk to a girl and the first few is the no's or no answer at all, you get discouraged and you don't want to try no more. But if you are constantly like just having regular conversations, try walking up to a stranger and just saying hello or saying good morning for no reason. And that will kind of give you the confidence to build to start talking to someone of an interest. But just be comfortable with rejection first. I wouldn't encourage anybody who has not actually tried to conversate with someone without being under the influence. Try practicing that too. Being sober and trying to talk. A lot of people, because they don't have the confidence, they have to have some alcohol, some marijuana, whatever substance they have before they can indulge. I encourage brothers to try to engage in conversations without a substance, because that would definitely up your game. That would definitely make you sharp, and it definitely make you quick. And it also, that's a whole nother domain, but it definitely will change the persuasion. If a person was not interested at first, if you learn how to conversate and master the art of substance with conversation, you can actually change the no into a yes. But that's a different teaching.
Yeah, I think what's so vital about that is, everybody, we'll talk about liquid courage. Some people need the liquid courage. The issue with that, and I just want to stamp what you're saying is, if you're doing that, you don't always assess what's going on around you clearly. So like if you do get rejected and you take it sober, we'll say, you can kind of look at that and kind of go like, all right, so why did that happen through a clear mind and kind of say like, all right, maybe I need to try this more. Maybe that just didn't come out as fluid as it could have or something. But there's a saying I absolutely love and I follow as much as I possibly can, and it's get comfortable being uncomfortable. And if you can get in whatever it is, like you going for your master's may have been uncomfortable in the beginning, and be like, screw it, I'm gonna go for it. One, I need to, and you're putting yourself down a different path. Talking to women, talking to anybody, that can be an uncomfortable thing, but if you can get comfortable with that, that's the only way you grow.
True. And another tip would be to have a wingman. Have a wingman. Now, this is a cheat sheet. This is a cheat code. But I'm gonna tell you one thing is like, in my earlier days, I had got a wingman because a wingman sometimes they can be aggressor. They could be an alpha. So what they could do is they can kind of talk and like start the conversation if you don't know how, and then you could kind of slide in. Or usually, I like back in when I was in it, I would be the wingman and I would start the conversation and I would kind of like introduce my boy in like, oh yeah, by the way, like my boy thought that like your friend was cute. Well, it's 2 and 2, so like come on and like kind of wing him in.
That's awesome, man.
So
That's
yeah, it's good to have a
awesome.
wingman too. That can help you.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, like it's for real. And strength in numbers too, right? Make you feel a little bit better.
Yeah,
Um,
strength in numbers.
so do you have any dating experiences you'd like to share? And if not, that's cool. If so, I'd love to
No,
hear
I
them.
mean I do. I mean it's past tense. I mean that's what we here for. Swipe wrong. So what kind
Right.
of I the theme of it is like a swipe wrong. We talking about online and stuff. I
No,
got
you know what the premise of the show is that, but really it's just hearing people's dating stories, whether you met them in person, just something that either sticks out, whether it was crazy, whether it was crazy awesome, whether it was just, oh my gosh, like this kind of mind blowing, just whatever sticks out to you, my guy.
all right, let me think of something. I mean, I was trying to think before we got on air, like because there's so many, especially like if you've been inside the field as long as I have. Let's say I'll try like an online experience that
All
turned
right.
into a physical, like in person. I guess we could call it catfishing while still catching a fish. That's
All right. All right. I like
let's
that.
start story time. Let's jog the memory. Okay, so we going back to like my early 20s at this point.
Okay.
So I'm online. I can't remember at the time of like no, I didn't get Tinder at that moment. So no, we were still playing on like Tag or Black Planet, things that way. Anyway, so I was online and I connected with this girl. And we started, FaceTiming whatsoever for like a few weeks. We talking on the phone, jonesing. And so, I felt like, it was time to meet. So just trying to meet her was always, we'd set a date. She wouldn't be able to come. We'd set a time. She wouldn't be able to get there. School, or she couldn't get out. She had to babysit, yada, yada, yada. It was always something. So
Mhm.
obviously I seen her face. We're talking on the phone. So I'm like, well, I know it's her. So the only concern is like that she has a baby father. Is she in like a complicated relationship? So like I'm fishing for it all. I'm just letting her know, like, hey, we didn't set any ground rules. We didn't say we were gonna be together. We just said that we were gonna talk. If you got a man, let me know so I could make the certain choices. Don't be, don't be
Sure.
greedy like that. She assured it was none of that. So eventually we met up. We met downtown Manhattan, and
Nice.
um, she showed up, but she told me that on the phone, like not the FaceTimes, but like FaceTime was her, but on the phone I was actually talking to her cousin
What?
and texting her cousin. So times when and that's what I'm forgetting because I don't want to bore the story, but like
No, you're
the
good.
I was missing was sometimes when we text, that was fast, but when I would call, that would be slow. Either when I was calling, she was returning a call, or she was saying she would call me back. So it would
Whoa.
take a little while, and that's what made me suspicious that either she lived with someone or she just had someone around that she probably didn't want to hear me talking to. But it made sense that like she had to wait till she was in front of her cousin to give her the FaceTime
Sure.
and stuff like that. So I was just like, oh great, like so I'm catfished right now. It's not
Right.
talking, okay. So she brings her cousin up. So she brings her cousin up. She wasn't as attractive as her, but she still was beautiful in her own right. I'll give her that, you know.
Awesome. Sure.
But and I did let her know, you know, like if you would have had the confidence, like I probably would have gave you a shot anyway. But because you didn't, you lost points, and like I'm not sure. Like you already came up as a liar. Who's to say what else you gonna do?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But I'm a guy. You know, I took both of them out. You know, I call up my homeboy. I'm like, let's not waste the time. I mean, it's a Friday or Saturday, I think, at this point. If my boy catch this episode here, remember, I called him up. I'm like, hey, excuse the French. I'm like, but I got two bitches right now. What's up? And he's like, all right. So he came, and you know, we hit it off. The girl who was I was talking to, she wound up, you know, not really liking my friend. But so he did.
Sure.
I'm hanging out with them. At the end of the night, I left off with the girl that, you know, turned out to be the one I was talking with. You know,
Okay.
we did us. But I left it at that. I didn't want anything else, nothing else. A few weeks later, I get a text. And I'm thinking like, oh man, I mean, I want to let her off easy, like whatever. So then she kind of says it like, no, you actually talking to me, like this is me, and I'm just like, you what? And then she FaceTimes me. So then we talk, you know, she apologized. She said, you know, since she
That's
met me in person, she's kind of curious more. And I'm like, well, what about your friend? I'm like, well, you know, guys, we ain't the only ones that's dogs out here, I guess.
No doubt.
I've actually learned that, like, you know, once you deal with somebody's friend in some way, they become interested too. But if they friend
Right.
turns down, then they might want to be like, well, why? But
Right.
you know, we ain't the only ones. So back to
Right.
it. You know, I was like, okay, whatever's gonna be, whatever. I didn't trust her either, but I liked her. She was bad. That's who I thought I was talking with.
Right.
So she became the aggressor. She became the seeker, and you know, she started giving invitations. So she's calling me a lot now, FaceTiming me. You know, we talking. Eventually, we link up, and you know, I take her
Nice.
down a few times. Boom, boom, boom.
Nice.
And
Nice.
after that, I decided that some play dog stuff. I wanted to get my get back. So
Right.
once she was texting me, I just decided that we were going to link. But instead of me linking, my boy he was trying to look for some girls, and like you know he didn't have any luck at the time. So I told her where to link at, where to go. I told him where to go, showed her how she looked, and then like when she told me she was there, I let her know like, yo, so I'm not gonna be coming, but I'm not gonna leave you stranded. But I do have a homeboy. He's gonna show you a good time. You don't have to go do anything you don't want to do. If you want to leave, I understand. But I got other things I have to do. But I do want you to have a good time. Of course, she you know, said her ones and twos, yelled, argued. But from what I was told, you know, they wound up having a good night.
There you go. There you go.
So that's how, you know, being catfish, I still call it the fish.
Dude, that's pretty cool. That is actually pretty cool. Did you ever did they ever tell you why they one was nervous and did it that way, or why it shook out that way?
Well, it's like from what I remember, it started off just as they was, you know, just playing with nails, being girls, you know, young adults.
Sure.
They wasn't sure who wanted to talk to me. They just seen the pictures. So when she saw that her cousin was more interested, it's when she said that she just bowed out. Like she didn't want to be in competition with her cousin. However, it wasn't her pictures up, so she was just saying, fuck it, just go with it. Like as it started to go on, because I was led to believe I was dealing with her, they kept it like that. But I'm just listening to both sides piece of both of them. She said she had every intention of just saying it was her. But because I already was saying like with the conversation pieces how I was feeling about her, she was like, if I start to present myself as this now, it might go left. So
yeah. Yeah, for
But either
sure.
way, I probably like if it was the other side of it, I've never catfished anybody. Um,
Right.
like me and my mans, we have passed numbers to each other, and
Sure.
I'm not gonna
Sure.
give our source, but
Yeah.
like I haven't catfished anyone. But if I was to go that route with something, and I didn't have that confidence, eventually, before it gets too deep, I probably would just say,
Yeah.
"Hey, listen, I am a little nervous, and I probably, you probably not gonna want to talk to me, but this is really me.
That's
Like
straight. That's straight.
I mean, you have to because we all saw Catfish, the TV show.
Yeah.
That's but in real life, that can go left.
Yeah.
That can go left. Luckily, I was understanding, and luckily, it was reversed. Because if that was a male
Yeah.
to a female, the cops could have got involved. Law
Yeah.
enforcement could have got involved. Somebody could have been waiting in the cut if they was too scared to come. Like people, transition because of things like that. So you got to be very careful playing with people.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Actually, when we're done, I'll message you one of the episodes. It's the craziest thing I've heard. It's I'll Spotify it too if you like. And it's the craziest catfishing story I think I've heard, and you're just kind of going, what the hell? But I mean, it's out there, and there's even like I don't know, like there's legit like reverse catfishing too, where some people will almost purposely put something up to where it makes them not look as good or look entirely different. And they'll show up and looking better. That's a much smaller sample size that's out there, but there's just some bizarre stuff, and it can really mess with people. That's for sure.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. I actually have something in that alley too, and it was crazy. I had reverse catfish
Really?
before. Yeah. Just a quick if you want me to share it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was on what was this? Um, my yearbook. I don't know if it's still out there, but I was on my yearbook and there was this young lady. She was a video vixen at the time. Um, and she was utilizing a friend's profile. And she didn't want to come out and say who she was. So it changed. The profile changed to actually her. And I thought that like it was some bullshit. So I was like, this can't be the person. And we never talked on the phone. At this time, no FaceTime exists. So we had planned to meet up. And she stood me up twice. Twice.
Oh wow. Oh
Um
wow.
Now there's a charm, at that point, like I'm just curious still, but there's a part of me that doesn't believe that it's this young lady. But the third time she's promised, she said she assured, she said, please come, everything's on me, it's my treat. And I'm sitting at the bar and she walks up. She walks up and I'm trying to hold my composure. I'm like, no shit, this is really her. This is the reason why she was going about it. And I can understand it. I mean, we are there now. TV is broader now, but back then, it was a little different. We didn't have a lot of access, so
Yeah.
the idea was to get like an authentic reaction and just get presented as herself rather than oh shit, this is her. And like now you're just trying to sell yourself just to be something you're not. So it
Yeah.
was genuine. I respected it. I was excited.
No
Um
doubt.
she I still know of her. She's out of that life now. She's married and have kids now. I still
That's
see her
cool.
on social medias. Haven't talked to her in years, but that story, I'm pretty sure that blew like that blew my mind. I'm sure she
Yeah.
remember that because we had a quick fling for a little bit, but I did have the reverse catfish before. I've seen my pictures. I know people who've actually used my pictures that I know personally.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, I never not I have a lot of confidence, but not to be funny, I didn't feel like I was that attractive that people would
Sure.
use me to catfish, but I was flattered. And I
Sure.
remember one of my homegirls snapped a picture of it and asked me, was it me? Like, yo, this you? And I'm like, that is me, but that ain't me. They're like, yo, I figured because the way they was talking, so they was just showing me like what like I'm like, how did they get my pictures? I'm like, that's crazy. But then I
No
have fun with one of
doubt.
my like two of my family members on two different occasions. One of them I had knowledge, I didn't have knowledge of. The other one I understood it, so I'm like, all right, cool, but I don't know how you're gonna play it. But one of them, they had they had been like using my pictures to get girls. And I'm like, so what do you tell them when it's actually time to meet them? He was like,
Right.
oh, he had this whole scheme that worked though, because he is a handsome guy. But in his defense, he was kind of like, doing his thing, and he had a relationship. So
Oh,
like,
sure,
he was
sure.
he was that like, oh, that's just Twist doing the thing. Now the other guy, everyone, like I say, everyone looks good in their own right, but he falls a little bit more less attractive. So he was using the pictures, but he was never really meeting them, I guess. But one day he asked me if this picture looked good, and he sends me a picture of me, and I'm just like, yo, bro, what are you doing? He was like, huh? He put LOL. He was like, no, I'm just I'm just using your pictures on this online thing. You know what I'm saying? So I could talk to girl. I'm like, bro, use yourself, bro. Like, at those times it's cool because, I got shorties, but I'm not really like so committed to where it's like I'll get in trouble. But I don't want to be walking down the street and somebody thinking they talking to me and they really talking to you.
I was just saying, how'd that make you feel, man? Your boys are saying, like, I mean, like you said, it's a compliment. It's a little bit of like, wow, that's nice of you, but what the fuck?
That's what made me feel. Let's put it like this. I talked to women about it, but picture this. Knowing that there are women out there, shit, even men, that are masturbating to you.
Right.
That's how it feels.
Right.
Like, basically, you're stealing.
You're sitting there, man. I need my own fleshlight. What's up?
Like, that's how it feels. If it, like a sense of it, it feels like your dignity is robbed. You feel
That's
vulnerable.
fair.
You
That's
feel
fair.
exposed. Like,
That's
dang,
fair.
like it's just one of those type of feelings. But I guess as a
Sure.
male, it doesn't bother me as much. I guess it would only bother me if I don't find a person attractive, and you know how that goes.
Yeah. But it had to, like, it would blow me away if a girlfriend of mine sent me a picture, said, "Hey, is this you?" And you're just kind of going, "It's me, but it's not me." That had to be a weird
Right.
feeling.
I mean, I
Yeah.
thought she was going to say I tried to holler at her, but no, I think
Yeah,
I tried to holler at her friend, and she knew it was me. So, like, that's
right.
it. Who knows how far that person would have went? I don't know who that was to this day.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That I've never, out of all the things I've heard, 150 episodes in, I've never heard anything like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, city. I'm gonna keep saying it. Like when you live in
Yeah,
a like, there's
yeah.
limit to what can happen. Catfishing, sharing girls, sharing guys, dealing with someone's family member in this borough and then running into their family member in that borough, not even
Yeah.
knowing that they connected because it's so big yet so small.
Sure.
All,
Sure.
all so
That's how I
like
felt when I was in LA, man. Like I felt like it's a city of all these people, but they're all so like it really is 6 degrees of separation.
like
It really is.
it's just that like it's no limits to
Yeah.
what it is. Let me ask you. I'll ask you something.
Yeah, sure.
So I had a segment that I did on my previous podcast on the kickback, and it was the attractive poll. So we broke down females and males. Now the males, it was in 3 different categories. It was cute, handsome, and sexy, and for the females, it was beautiful, pretty, and sexy. So
Okay.
obviously, for the women, beautiful, and for the men, cute. That was like the bottom, but there's categories to it. So my question to you is, there was percentages too. Where do you think you fall in an attractive pole? Do you feel like you're cute? Do you feel like you're handsome? Or you feel like you're sexy? Based off of what females
it,
told you.
and it would be like handsome, middle, sexy top, right? Is that what you're
Yes,
saying?
handsome is like usually the middle.
Yeah, I
Cute
think I'm
is like
handsome. I would say handsome. I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I do. I think handsome. I'm not gonna go like cute. Like I think, I think I've gotten a little bit better than cute. And summertime, I might be sexy because I'm running a lot more and I've lost some weight. Wintertime, I might be cute because I put on the LBs, bro. It's cold outside. I don't go out as much, but once the workout trend comes through and all that, so. But I'd say I'm probably right about middle. I'm probably handsome is about what I've got, and it's yeah, that's where I'll go with it, and I will stop talking.
Nah, you're good. I mean, in order for us to conduct the project, we had to do the research. So I was just digging in from what I remember, and then just asking again to reassure, and I fell in the handsome bracket as well. I haven't been called cute. I've been called a cutie,
Yeah,
but
sure,
I
right,
haven't
right.
been called cute. Like, oh, he's cute. Um,
Yeah,
but I've ran into brothers and homeboys who have, and that's a different domain I wouldn't understand. Now, sexy sometimes, sometimes depending on what girls we're talking about, but most of my life I got handsome, which
yeah,
I could go with that. And we
yeah,
also did what the breakdown of like percentages of if you went out to the club and you were just trying to pick up some, it would be five girls, you had to try to go with five girls and you had to break down the percentages of how many would have left with you that night, how many would probably just give you another date, how many didn't give you the number or reject, just on that ratio. So I was batting out of five. I did like a 3 out of 5 where probably two of them would have left with me. Like one of them would have gave me the number for the next day. Other one probably would have declined because they had a man, and then one would have rejected me. But that's out of five.
yeah,
We had a chance to do out of 10, but that would have
yeah.
been fun.
That's a fun
Uh,
social
yeah.
experiment. That's a legit fun social
It's
experiment.
it's crazy. It's intense. But
So when you do an exercise like that, does your confidence even change a little bit too? Because you're like, hey, we're kind of doing like it's not really about me, it's about science, we'll say.
uh yes, it will.
Yeah, I could see that.
Well, because I already knew like my standpoint and where I stand at, like when it comes to attractive pose and like the attractiveness. I think if I didn't know and then I went out there and I
Yeah,
conducted the research and it went left, yeah, I probably would have been discouraged. Like, wow,
yeah,
you get older,
yeah.
things,
You, it's
it was,
funny doing the show. Like it, like there's a lot like and like I wrote a couple books or whatever just in base of the show. But the only reason I even bring that up is because like I would talk, like I would go up to like I'd be in a bar and there'd be a group of women and I would just go up and I'd be like, hey, I got some questions for you. And it was so much easier because it was show related and not like me just trying to go up and pick up women. It was just so it was like there was a mission behind it. It wasn't like, oh man, let's see if I can go hook up, which,
right.
again, you and I know you've overcome some shyness and stuff, but I know that we have some gregariousness to us as well, where I think
Right.
we're all right with that. But boy, when there was a goal behind like, hey, I really am seeking some information,
Mm-hmm.
conversation just flows, man.
Oh,
It's so
yeah.
like it felt like what you were kind of doing with hey, this
Mhm.
is kind of a science study.
I think people are more receptive if they know that the approach has no intention. So like
Yeah.
when I wasn't telling people what I was doing, I was trying to do it organically, just trying to run up to the females. They were less receptive and like
Yeah.
they were like just like, oh, what are you doing? But when I changed the word and I let them know, like, hey, excuse me, and got right to it, like, listen, I'm just trying to conduct just uh like the statistics for like, show.
Yeah.
And I just want your honest opinion. Then they're like, oh, okay, cool. But if I
Yeah.
was just like, yo, what's up? Like just trying to spit it to them, like I found that even with that, because I'm not gonna lie, even with that, I was still able to pull,
Sure.
but there was less like or there was less acceptance to just to try to engage. Like there's all guy, here
Gotcha.
comes another guy, whatever, and now I got to work harder. But if I just tell them I was just conducting this experiment, they was easier to talk to, and they explain why. They explain if they would date me. They would explain why wouldn't they date me. A lot of them had like interesting takes and perspectives. Like I said, it all depends on the
Yeah.
personalities that you're talking with. Shy, extroverted, people who've been hurt, trauma, divorced, married, you name it. So
Yeah,
the
sure.
people we're speaking with is what type of information they're gonna get back. But yeah, trust me, it's a fun experiment. It's fun.
So this can also even go to what we were talking about in the beginning, guys having the confidence to go up to talk to women. It can
Hmm.
be this social experiment. It doesn't have to be like you don't have to go up and talk to them just to talk, like
Hmm.
create your own social experiment. And
Right.
maybe that will bring down some of the fears you have of talking to them. And I mean, it's just a conversation. It's always just a conversation. If you go into it with no expectations, you're always going to get further ahead.
Right. I mean, it's just like I said earlier, is like I encourage people to get comfortable with rejection. And that
Yeah.
would be a great tool. That would be a good exercise just to go out, with whoever you go out with and, just talk to like a few people without
Yeah.
even letting them know what you're doing and just for yourself and just see the reactions you get.
Yeah,
Just
for
see
sure.
reactions. If you get a lot of rejection, all right, that means that you could get more comfortable with it. But maybe understand, maybe like the last ones or so, if you just want to get like a thesis of what's going on, maybe ask like, hey, I just been talking to a bunch of people, blah, blah, blah. Can you explain to me like why you rejected me?
Yeah. Yeah.
And people will honestly tell you, they will be transparent, like, yeah, your approach, maybe the way you dress is not something I'm into. Your breath stink, you wasn't groomed well.
Sure.
Just I mean, I'm sure nobody would say that, but race sometimes it is true. Like people have
Sure.
preference, taste,
Sure.
body. So like people will be transparent and then you can take that information, be discouraged or work on it.
Your words are making me think of one of my favorite people ever on the planet. God rest his soul, Kobe Bryant.
Mm.
He would I'll never forget, like I'm a huge Laker fan, LA guy, right? And I'll never forget his air balls against Utah in the playoffs. Like he shot like 3 air balls and closed out a series. And he talked about it in his retirement. So every time something like that happened, it was just more information on what do I need to do better. Like I knew after I shot that air balls, my legs weren't strong enough. I didn't have the endurance. I didn't have enough lift in them. It's just like what you're talking about. Like if people are just getting more information of, like why he missed the shot. Well, why did this guy miss the shot with that girl? You're just getting more information on what you may need to do differently next time, and then he won't miss that shot again.
Right. And
That's all.
I just gotta say, none of that works in relationships. Let me just put that. None of this pickup stuff. Like it only works for like single people. When you're in a relationship, they don't care about all of that. That goes out the window, because you get familiar with each other and that honeymoon phase goes
Sure.
out. So
Sure.
you trying to throw a bunch of pickup lines and of
Yeah.
course you go with your significant other trying to pick people up,
Right.
So don't try that when you're in a relationship. I'll say that.
Yeah. That's
I mean, if you
legit.
do your cheating thing, by all means, get you. I'm not gonna stop nobody, but I'm just saying, like, that's a different territory in itself. It's
Yeah.
fun, but
Yeah.
the reality of it is, also it gets lonely too after a while.
It
So,
does.
like, remember that, fellas. It's
Yeah.
fun, but it gets lonely too. And even the best players could tell you that. Trust me.
Yeah, for sure. So all that being said, where did you meet your girlfriend?
I met my girlfriend through a friend.
Okay.
We all were together at a gathering, and she actually approached me. That's the crazy thing about it.
That's cool.
She approached me, and I wasn't really thinking anything about it. I was still on the prowl, and when she approached me, we just started talking about like what she's into, and she showed me the garden that she was doing, which I didn't give a fuck about, but at the same time, it's like
It's
cool.
fair.
But
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool. She talking, it's cool. And then after a while, we just at that time, I already had the mindset is that I wanted to do different. Like I wanted to, be in relationships and like
Yeah.
actually, like I said, the lonely part is that like when your lifestyle starts to change, so does your mindset have to. So I decided that I wanted to be in a relationship. That's something
Yeah.
I haven't really done in a while because I'm just one of those people that I thrived off the chase.
Right.
So being in a relationship was harder,
Yeah.
but I was just like, I gotta master this so I don't be one of those people that die old
Yeah. Yeah.
because I don't know how to have a relationship, but I know how to have relations. So,
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
right.
That's
So
a great way of putting it.
what happened was, she was compatible with me. We have a lot of chemistry. We build a friendship within a friendship. We doing good.
I
You
love to
know,
hear that, man. I
I
love
love.
to hear
Yeah,
the
I
good
thought that for
stories.
me too. Because
Yeah.
sometimes even I just be like, I can't believe, like I can't believe I'm saying this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Feels
had
good, right? Feels good.
yeah. I mean, I've had girlfriends in the past. Come on, I've dated, but um,
Sure.
and yeah, it was exclusively. But I ain't gonna. Yeah, I was a serial cheater. I'll be honest with you. I
Yeah.
was a
Sure.
serial cheater, and I'm sorry to all those women out there, but I was in a different place.
Yeah.
My mind wasn't on being committed and slowing down, but now I have different morals these
Yeah.
days.
Yeah. This takes its own work though. I mean, it takes
Yeah.
work to hook up. It takes a lot of work to keep a good, healthy relationship.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to be honest. Knowing what I know now, like relationships is not always peaches and grapes and
Right.
butterflies and bees. Like it's the commitment.
Yeah.
So being in commitment, sometimes you don't want to be in those commitments.
Yeah.
Especially like once the fun stuff is gone and the storm hits. This is when usually people break up. They can't withstand it
Yep.
because you give up before it actually becomes like something that's fulfilled. In
Yeah.
order to get fulfilled, you got to know what the hard stuff is like. It's
Yeah.
we all know it feels good when you on the phone and talking all day and
Yeah.
jonesing and texting. I miss you, boo, yeah, baby, whatever. Sex
Yeah.
is like or all you can eat buffet. But
Yeah.
once you hit that plateau of like, now the blindfold's off, you guys got to start talking about what communication looks like, what balance looks like, what time management look like, what socialization between your
Yep.
friends and your family and yourself. That's when things start to hit the fan, or what you start to notice that you guys might not like or don't like about each other. Yeah,
Yeah.
it gets tough. And the older you get, the more mature and the more patience you have to actually sit down and have conversations.
Yeah.
Like, okay, what exactly are we doing here? Um, I've come to a place in my life to, God forbid, I don't want us to break up. I love what we're doing, but I'm also to a place where I understand what commitments are, I understand what relationships is. I'm not married yet. Hopefully we can get there. But I do understand that commitment is doing the hard stuff. It's having the
Yeah.
hard conversations.
Yeah.
It's um being in relationships that's like healthy is boring.
Yeah.
But let
Yeah.
me change the terminology because I'm laughing, but what I mean by that is it's not boring, it's calm.
You
And
calm. There you go.
when things are calm, um, and you used to chaos, you think something is wrong. So I just want to say I started to learn that I actually prefer these days to boringness. I
Yeah.
prefer to know that, someone out there cares about me at the end of the day, even though it's not conditional, it's close to it. And I don't have to look forward to, okay, on Friday I need to figure out what I'm gonna wear so I could go outside and try to get any girl who's willing to come fuck me later and shit
Yeah.
like that. I
Yeah.
know that I got someone that like, I could, be with it. We're gonna have a good old time and
Yeah.
build.
Dude, I
It's
dig the
different.
hell out of that. I dig the
Yeah.
hell out of that.
And that's
That's
big
good
of
stuff.
me. Because even now, like when I'm talking to people who know me and who've been out with me, they're like, damn, bro, like I can't believe like
Yeah.
you doing it. Even some of
Yeah.
my exes, like we don't talk now, but like in the beginning, like when I was like kind of like knocking things off, they thought it was a joke. It was
Yeah.
like, you? Yeah, all right. I was like, wow, like the fucking confidence, like, oh, until they realized that, like, damn, I wasn't that easy. I'm like, damn, you know what? Guys are
Yeah.
easy. They could
Yeah.
just call us anytime we want. Like, my man had to never be there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when they
Yeah.
don't have that access, like, it hit different. Like,
Yeah.
they
Totally.
put the hey big heads and hey, what you doing?
Once again, tell everybody where they can find you, what's going on, and where they can link up and get your content.
Yeah, you already know. Let me throw my slogan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my.
Yeah.
Again, my name is Twist Johnson. You can find me on Instagram at Twist Johnson _ You can leave that in there. I gotta call. If you didn't hear it, it's Twist Johnson _ That's TWISTJOHNSON _ You can find my podcast clips on Instagram as well at Let's _ Talk 2025. TikTok, you can find me as Twist Johnson, Twist.Johnson. And you can find me on YouTube at Let's _ Talk with Twist. I believe that's enough handles for now. I have the show on YouTube. I have it on Spotify. I have it on Apple, Amazon, you name it. It talks more. It used to be just about just shooting whatever we could talk about. in anything, but I geared it more towards my actual personal niche, which is human services. So I'll be talking more about a lot of mental health pieces, but instead of it being the traditional standard mental health, just sounding like, no offense to anybody, but the dry eye, clear eyes type thing, I try to add a spin to it, add it to like where it's still educational but fun. So I'm still conducting interviews with rappers, musicians. I have a lot of clinical practitioners, a lot of producers, rappers, song artists, like book artists. I had like a ghostwriter for authors the other day. That
Nice.
was actually different. But what I'm saying is I'm still taking people from all walks of life and I'm incorporating a mental health piece into it.
That's awesome. I love the
Yes.
work that you do, man. I love it.
Thank
I
you so
love it.
much.
You're a
Yeah.
genuinely good human.
Mm-hmm.
I can't thank you enough for taking the time, bro.
Oh no, come on, man. I know like soon as we was just talking, like we both understood the flow. I'm happy to do the show. It's very different. The title's different, the story time is different. So when I think that like you were just like, hey, I'm open to anybody, I say, oh, I'm jumping on this.
Bro, I hope it's
It's
been
a
as fun
chance
for you
for
as it's
me.
been for me.
Yes, thank you. Like it was a chance for me like to actually talk about something that's out of my norm.
Thank you for being along for the ride on the Swipe Wrong podcast. The show is produced by Jay Pelham. You want to reach out to us? We want to hear your story. 317-426-6616. Make sure to text, leave a voicemail. We'll get back to you. Shoot us an email at swipewrongpod@gmail.com. We are on Facebook, Insta, Twitter, YouTube. We are definitely out there. I am the host of the show. My name is Chaos. And please make sure to take a listen to us next week because the saga, it continues.